I'm still. Anyway, well, it's been good for first. Survival, Halloween, so on and so forth. Some of my better memories probably of it. I used to like going around in a little candy corn costume, interacting with all the humans and all the children, everyone else having fun. I'm just, I can figure out a way to get rid of that glare on it. Maybe just cover up the window completely one of these two. Anything. Unimportant. At the moment, anyway. You just saw some of the books I bought in the last, couple of weeks, month or so since I did one of these. They seem relatively popular. People seem to like most of these videos when I do this. Not all of them. But, I'm not that hodgepodge of things. Found that. The front with the one. This is I believe, a second printing of this book. I don't think it's a first, I think it's a second. March 1947. So, it might be the original. Pretty old, older than I am. It's, almost done with that book. Getting there. But, it's a pretty good book, by the way. He's an interesting guy. Interesting guy. Him and Only Murphy didn't get along. They were in Red Badge of Courage together. One didn't think much of the other one. You figure out which one's which. But so this is his Joey Willie cartoon, World War II. Sorry, I'm not sure you can see that. Glare out there. Maybe you just cover up the window completely. Oh well. Anyway. Yes, I snipped them. Old books like it. But anyway, it's not a very big book, it's pretty small. But supposedly, I think it's either a first edition or a second edition. Willie and Joe's war in Europe was over when Upfront appeared, but it proved to be as popular at home as the long wiry humorous cartoons have been overseas. In 9 months of Upfront, sold one of 1 million copies and hitting the bestseller list. I believe this is the one that won him the Pulitzer Prize. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the one that won him the Pulitzer Prize. He won 2 of them, so that's pretty interesting. One of my favorite Jewish authors, Chaim Chazak, Gift of Asherah, the sequel to My Name is Asherah. If I had to pick a series about one individual that I really do enjoy, it's his book on Asherah. So the second one, I think, if I remember correctly, he was going to write a third, but unfortunately he died too young, or he died. I don't know how old he was. But I like this one. I like the first one just as well. I like this one. I like Jewish history, Hasidic history, Hasidism. If you like, it's well written. I like it. It's very, very Jewish. Very, very, very Jewish. And that's the whole point of it. I think that's the point. He was trying to get away with it and drag them back in. He has a son, he has a daughter, he has all those things. He's an artist. He's struggling to figure out what he wants to do next. He has no idea. He's repeating himself, like I do constantly. But it is a good book. My name is Ashley, and this one, excellent. I found this when I was living in Orlando, Florida. Well, him as an author. Very good stuff. This is a novel of the Prime Minister Disraeli, which I know nothing about. I know very little about him. This is unfortunate. I should know more. But this is a historical novel, which I haven't read. But it looked interesting, and I like English history, being half English on my mother's side. Hence the British side. Jack, I should say. That's not the English flag. That's the United Kingdom flag. Should get an English flag. Anyway. Another one of my wardrobe books. books I found, Wake Island. Now, if you've never seen the movie Wake Island that they made pretty much while this was happening, that's pure propaganda. That movie is nothing but propaganda. But that movie was made between Wake Island falling and Wake Island being recaptured. It's a decent film for what it is. It is a propaganda piece. Don't take it, don't, it's a propaganda piece. I do enjoy the Joe War books. I like collect them. When I find them, I get them. For like the Band War books, I find one, I'm buying it. Because I find them to be some of the best of the war books, of the war book series. These Joe and the war books. I found my own copy of this. I had burned Masters. So I finally found my own copy of this so I can continue doing my Bible study on the book back. And I do like these series of books. I mean, I don't know if I agree with everything he says, but I like it. It's very concise, very to the point, pretty well written. I mean, there are some better ones, but overall, if you're going to do a little Bible study 1 week every Sunday and just don't want to make it too complicated for people, or at least get too in depth, but you will lose people who get too in depth. These are good series. Now this is the last Emperor of China. Here's a full-scale modern biography of one of the most intriguing figures in the 20th century history. The elusive man who once reigned over nearly half the world's population is Pai Yi, the last emperor of China, who ascended to the throne in 1903. Spoiled in his youth, surrounded by consorts and concubines, fawned over by courtiers and eunuchs, Pu Yi was a virtual god within the walls of the make-believe world inside the forbidden city. Outside of revolution and world of war through. And a revolution and a world war through China into a period of chaos that would change the country forever. It's a very good movie, by the way. Historically off and on here. It was a very good film. We did one best picture if you remember correctly. First, the Japanese installed Pai Yi. I'll get his name right eventually. Pu Yi as a puppet emperor of the Manchuria, where he lived indefinitely in the salt tax palace until the end of the war. He was taken prisoner by the Russians and brought to trial in his homeland as a traitor and a war criminal. Then, as a prisoner of the Red Chinese, he underwent grueling 10-year re-education program and was finally released in 1959 to live out his last years among people as a gardener and a private citizen. I have not read this book, but I like history. I like all history. I like Chinese history. I like history, apparently. It's a good movie. What you assume with the movie is based off this book. And what I remember of the book, of the movie, I liked it. I will probably like this. It does have pictures of the guy. But, not a bad movie. Not a bad book. Anyway. Yes. Bodicea. On Bodica. Depending on who you are and how you want to say it. Bodica's last stand. Revolving with Rome. AD 6061. In 61 AD, Roman rule in Britain was threatened by a bloody revolt led by one of the most iconic figures of British history. Legend dictates that Bodicea destroyed 3 Roman towns and thousands of lives in response to Rome's cruelty and betrayal of her and her family. This new scholarship work, every picture I ever see of her, she's a redhead, which probably wasn't. They do like to make her into a redhead, which I approve of. I love redheads. But it's an interesting look at Roman history, British history. I wouldn't know if it's written quite yet. You know what I mean. But look good. A lot of these books, you gotta realize why I have so many is I go to they have a second-used bookstore where they're basically getting rid of books. A lot of these are $3. I spend a lot of money on $3. But as always, I love British history. I have British. But I do like books. Not just too much. I should go to a bookstore by myself. But then again, I go by myself, so I'm not like a choice. So yeah, Tom, terrific. Sigler for his time with the White Sox. Well, team that had never had a New York Mets, and leading them to the most important World Series victory in baseball history. I think it was Tom Terrific. No one ever doubted he deserved it. Well, the Mets were simply the franchise. Yes. Here's a bumper. Player of my era. When baseball is not the screwed up mess that it is today. M-game, my Dodgers watching my Dodgers. Woo! I'm sick of work. My Dodgers did it. They pulled it off. They beat the Yankees in the World Series. Yay. Hey, Dodgers. This one feels more like a win of a World Series than the 2020 one was. This one felt like an actual World Series that they could have lost. Unlike the other one where there was no way they were going to lose to the Tampa Bay Rays. But anyway, but my Dodgers won. And Freddie Freeman was the MVP. He was good. He had 6 home runs. Oh well, 5 home runs. 5 home runs in. Anyway, he had a whole bunch of home runs and was the MVP. This was born in the Dakota War here in Minnesota. In August 1862, after suffering decades of hardships, broken treaties, and relentless encroachment on their land, the Dakota leader Little Crow reluctantly agreed that his people must go to war. And he did. Reluctantly did not want to do this. He knew what was going to happen. It was obvious what was going to happen. After 6 weeks of fighting, which was bloody, it was brutal on both sides. It was not a clean of any kind on any side. It was brutal. The uprising was smashed. Thousands of Native Americans were taken prisoner by the U.S. Army, and 303 Dakotas were sentenced to death. President Lincoln, embroiled in the most devastating periods of the Civil War, personally intervened to save the lives of 265 of the condemned men. But in the end, the 38 Dakota men would be hanged in the largest government sanction execution in U.S. history. This author also wrote one of Lindbergh. He's also wrote one of Woodrow Wilson. I have his Lindbergh book. I don't have his Woodrow Wilson book. I don't have the heart to buy that well. Let's just say Woodrow Wilson is not one of my favorite presidents. And he's very low on the list of good presidents. He wasn't very good. He was too full of himself and he wouldn't listen to other people. But anyway, I digress. But this book, if you like Native American history, if you like Minnesota history, and you're living here in Minnesota, this book is worth reading. It was the Dakota uprising could have been avoided. Mostly on our side, it could have been avoided by a lot. Now, I know very little of anything about the Ottoman Empire's genocide of the Armenians, but this is what this book is about. The shameful act, the Armenian genocide, and the question of Turkish responsibility. I know about it. I know of it, I should say. I do have one other book in here about the Armenian genocide and all that, but it was interesting. It's history. Cost me, I get this at half price or I think I got this at half. Oh no, I got this library. At the library used book section when they're selling books. That's right, that's right. But yeah. Under the cover of World War I, some 1 million Armenians were killed through starvation, forced marches, and mass acts of slaughter. Although history and the world opinion have held the Ottoman powers responsible, modern Turkey has rejected any claim of genocide. Yeah. Now, the pioneering work of